All right, picture this. You're just driving along, maybe listening to some music, and then, boom, out of nowhere, an animal darts right into your path. Suddenly, that totally normal drive turns into a full-blown crisis.
You've got, maybe a second or two to react? What do? Slam on the brakes, yank the wheel, and swerve? Knowing the right move here, well, it can literally be the difference between a scary story and a really, really bad accident. So yeah, let's get into it.
And look, this isn't some rare freak occurrence. The scale of this problem is, well, it's just staggering. We're talking about 1 million animals killed by cars in the US every single day. Just try to wrap your head around that number for a second. It's almost impossible.
So, to really get a grip on what this all means, we need to zoom out from that daily number and look at the annual toll. This isn't just about the animals. It affects a lot of people, too.
Okay, this chart right here really lays it all out. You see the 1 to 2 million reported collisions a year, which is just a huge number. But then look at the human cost, which I think a lot of us don't really think about. We're talking over 10,000 injuries, and tragically, about 200 people lose their lives every year in the US from these incidents. This is a serious, serious road safety issue.
And if you think the US numbers are bad, well, when we look at the whole planet, the problem just explodes. Globally, it's estimated that over 2 billion animals are killed by vehicles every single year. That's not a typo. 2 billion. It's a massive worldwide conflict between our roads and their world.
So why? Why is this happening so much? I mean, it's not just a case of bad luck, right? It's really about a fundamental clash, a clash between how animals behave and the way we've built our world.
And you can see that clash right here. On one side, you've got the animals, who are just being animals. They're following ancient migration routes, they're looking for food, they're crossing their territory, they have absolutely no clue what a car is. Then on our side, you've got us, driving at high speeds, building roads that slice right through their homes, and sometimes we even attract them to the roadside with things like salt in the winter. It's kind of the perfect storm.
Okay, this brings us to what might be the most important part of this whole thing. What do you do in that split second? The animal is right there. What is the right move?
Look, having a plan in your head is everything. So here it is, 4 steps. Number 1, stay calm. I know, easier said than done, but you have to maintain control of the car. 2, and this is the big one, brake firmly and in a straight line, but do not swerve. Fight that instinct. 3, lay on the horn. The noise might just be enough to scare them out of the way. And 4, where there's one, there's often more. So be ready for a second or third animal to follow.
I really want to pause here for a second, because if you take away only one thing from this, let it be this. Do not swerve. Your instinct will be screaming at you to yank the wheel, but swerving is how you lose control, roll the car, or hit a tree or another vehicle. As horrible as it is to think about hitting an animal, the outcome for the people inside the car is often way, way worse when the driver swerves.
All right, so now we know what to do in the moment. But how about we avoid that moment altogether? Let's talk about being proactive, because the best way to handle one of these encounters is to just not have one. And here's your playbook for that. First, slow down, especially if you see those yellow wildlife crossing signs. At night, use your high beams whenever you can. It'll help you spot the reflection in their eyes way earlier. And don't just stare at the road right in front of you. Scan the shoulders, the ditches, the tree lines. Be extra, extra careful at dawn and dusk. That's prime time for animal activity. And you know this one, but it's huge. Put the phone away. Distractions kill.
Okay, so what about the aftermath? Let's talk insurance for a sec. This is something a lot of people get wrong. If you hit an animal, the damage to your car is usually covered by your comprehensive insurance, not collision. Why? Because it's considered an act of God, kind of like a tree branch falling on your car. It wasn't your fault. Your liability coverage? That won't do anything for your car, it just covers damage you do to others. So check your policy for comprehensive.
You know, what we do as individual drivers is super important. But to really solve a problem this big, we have to zoom out and think bigger. We need to look at our roads, our communities, and the technology we can use to make things safer for everybody, animals included. I mean, when you boil it all down, the problem is pretty simple. We built our world right on top of theirs. Our roads slice right through their habitats, their migration routes. They're basically just dangerous barriers that force animals into traffic. That's the core conflict. But the good news is, there are some really smart solutions out there.
Things like building special wildlife overpasses, like a bridge just for animals, or underpasses. You combine those with roadside fencing that kind of funnels the animals towards these safe crossing points, and even simpler stuff like just managing the plants and trees on the roadside to make it easier to see can make a huge difference.
And of course, technology is starting to play a huge part. Check this out. Animal detection systems. They use things like radar or infrared cameras to spot an animal near the road. And then, bam, they trigger a warning sign for drivers up ahead. It's like a high-tech heads-up that says, hey, slow down, something's up there. Pretty cool, right?
You know, all of this really comes back to a simple fact. Animals and humans see the world differently. An animal doesn't see a car. It sees a huge, loud, blindingly bright monster moving faster than anything in nature. Their brain just isn't built to process that. And their natural instincts to either freeze in place or bolt are pretty much the worst things they can do in that situation.
So that kind of leaves us with a big question, doesn't it? If we know that they can't really adapt to our world, then isn't it on us to adapt our world to better coexist with theirs? You know, changing our roads, using new tech, adjusting how we drive. It's something to think about next time you're out on the road. Stay safe, everyone.
Please like, subscribe, and get notified.